The following is a live special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for this 6th day of October 2022. It's Game 3 of the World Series, and if you're a St. Louis Cardinal fan, you are sitting pretty right now. You won the first two games in Toronto. You got Danny Cox going for you today, who pitched okay against the Dodgers in his one start, and you're halfway to the World Series. What could possibly go wrong? Well, let me tell you about the 1986 Boston Red Sox and 1996 Atlanta Braves. They won the first two games of their respective World Series on the road at Shea and at Yankee Stadium. And what happened? Well, you know what happened. They lost. So there is hope for Toronto yet. And they put their hopes on Jimmy Key, the lone left-hander in the rotation. It won't be a complete game, but the Blue Jays, they haven't played terribly in this World Series. They've only scored 4 runs. Yes, that's true. They've left on 23, and you aren't going to win much of anything if you're leaving on 13 runners at a clip, which is what the Blue Jays did in Game 2 yesterday. Now, the one thing the Cardinals have done besides run, and they have run and run quite well, is they have hit with some power. In the regular season, the St. Louis Cardinals hit 87 home runs in 161 games. This postseason, in 9 games, they've smashed 12. Yep, they have won with the power, they have won with the pitching, the House of Tudor, and they have won with their speed. So the Blue Jays, again, huge game for them. They have to find a way to shut down the Cardinals and get runners home. If not, then we could do the clincher as early as Sunday. If you're ready, I am. As Retro Sports Network proudly presents, here we go, the 1985 World Series. Today, from Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, Missouri, it's Game 3 between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Toronto Blue Jays. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us on Spotify, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. So many windows. Pun intended, John. John thinks the key here is Toronto is a gem from their starter, Jimmy Key. And Tribe fan, how are you? Some post-lunch baseball. I haven't had lunch yet. The wife is still home. She's not feeling well. So I get lunch after the game. Danny Cox is 26 years old, a fly ball pitcher and a fastball pitcher at 87. Against the Dodgers in his one NLCS start, he did not get a decision in a 6-5 loss. He is literally going on 12 days rest. He must have pitched Game 3. 7 2/3, 122 pitches. He can go up to 130 today. 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. A homer, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. So it is the right-handed lineup going for Toronto today. Damaso Garcia leads off at second base. Lloyd Mosby in center will bat second. George Bell in left will go third. Willie Upshaw is at first, will bat fifth or fourth. Jesse Barfield, if the Blue Jays are going to come back, he has got to start hitting. He will bat fifth. Tony Fernandez at short bats sixth. Rance Melnick's in the lineup today. At third will go seventh. Ernie Witt behind the plate goes eighth. And Jimmy Key, who looks like a man who knows the season is on his left arm, will bat ninth. And so with all that, here's the Cardinals defensively. Coleman a 5 and an 8 in left. McGee an 8 and a 7 in center. Landrum a 4 and a 4 in right. Pendleton a 9 at third. Ozzie a 9 at short. Tommy Herr a 5 at second. Clark a 6 at first. Nieto a 5 and a 7 behind the plate. Cox a 7 on the mound with a 9.64 fielding percentage. Garcia in the playoffs, 15 for 41. 366, no homers, and 4 RBI. And Game 3 starts with a ground ball base hit. So a good start from the Jays. And that'll bring up Mosby, 378, no homers, and 5 RBI. There goes Garcia. Hit and run was on. Popped up Nieto to the screen. And that's out of play. The Blue Jays can run. They have 4 stolen bases in the postseason. But the Cardinals just do it so much better. Throw to first. Garcia is back. And a 1-strike count to Mosby. Lloyd into right center. McGee coming in will make the catch for the out. So this would be the Friday, the 25th of October game. I don't understand the problem with the Twitch app. We've talked about this a number of times. You'd think that if anything was streamlined for people to watch on their phone, it would be a gaming channel. Here's Bell, 263, 2 homers and 10 RBI in this postseason, 1 out. And Bell laces this one right to Clark, who doubles off Garcia. So the second time in as many games, the Blue Jays get doubled off on a line drive. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the first here in Game 3. Blue Jays nothing. Here come the Cardinals. So, of the 9 previous or prior playoff games, Dave Stieb and Doyle Alexander have started 7. Key and Clancy only got the 1 start in the ALCS. He pitched on the 12th of October, so he's on almost 2 full weeks rest. He won Game 3, 6 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, a homer. He walked 2 and struck out 3. He's just 24, flat fastball at 85, and a fly ball pitcher. And this will be the lineup that he faces. Oops. Vince Coleman leads off in left field. He had a good game, too. Willie McGee will bat second. In center field. Tommy Herr at second will bat third. Jack Clark at first cleans up. Tito Landrum today in right field with the lefty on the mound. He'll bat fifth. Terry Pendleton at third, bats sixth. Ozzie Smith at short will bat seventh. Tom Nieto behind the plate. The Cardinals will miss Darryl Porter and his massive power, and I'm not being facetious with that. He'll bat eighth, and Danny Cox, who started Game 1 of the Real World Series, gets a start here in Game 3, and he will bat ninth. Buckshot Kid and Steeler fan, how are you? So all that being said, Coleman at 136. 6 for 44. But he is 2 for 10 in the World Series with a stolen base. Coleman swings into right center. Mosby rides the Schwinn, coming in, 1 out. So here's McGee, Willie at 333. The Blue Jays have had his number. 2 homers and 6 RBI. into left. Bell, who's a 5 and a 5, makes the catch. A web gem, a diving, sliding catch to make for the out. Unlike the weather in Toronto, which was cold, 72 here in St. Louis, and the wind is a very gentle 3 from left to right. Bell, as we said, a 5 and a 5 in left. Mosby, a 5 and a 4 in center. Barfield, an 8 and a 10 in right. Melnick's a 3 at third. Fernandez, an 8 at short. Garcia, a 4 at second. Upshaw, who probably will play against John Tudor in game 4 tomorrow, a 6 at first. Witt, a 6 and a 3 behind the plate, and Key is a 7 on the mound with a 9.57 fielding percentage. I can't answer private messages, by the way, during the stream. Her, 10 for 35, 286, no homers, and 3 RBI. Swings and lines one to Fernandez, and that will retire the side. So again, no runs, no hits, no errors. After 1, no score. So here's Upshaw. Willie at 292 in the playoffs, a home run, and 3 RBI. Cox starts the second with a number down to her. Tommy snares it, throws to first, 1 out. When we asked you in game 1 what you thought the series would be, most of you thought it would be a 7-game affair. When you had the Cardinals in 6, I would have gone with a split in Toronto. I think it's 6 or St. Louis will win this in 6 or 7. But I am mildly surprised that the Cardinals come home with a 2-game lead. And one of the reasons why is that Jesse Barfield really hasn't done much of anything in the World Series. 2 for 7 with an RBI. So better than his LCS against California. But not great. And Barfield gets hit. Well, that's the easiest way to get on. 1 out for Fernandez. 9 for 32, hitting 281 with 3 RBI. Cox throws to first. Barfield has good speed, and Jesse's back. Pitch to Fernandez. Tony into left field. Coleman will make the catch. Jamie says, happy birthday, by the way, buddy. Barfield going back to first. The Dodgers would be here. You know what? I haven't seen signed mine since the Dodgers choked that one away. You got the Cards in 6. Well, Toronto, to get it back to Toronto, need to take 2 out of 3 here. Here's Melnick's 5 for 19 in the playoffs with an RBI. Pitch to Rance. Barfield goes and holds up McGee in the shallow center. Will make the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Bottom of the second, no score. So it'll be Clark, Landrum, and Pendleton. Clark hitting .406 in the playoffs. 13 for 32. Key starts the second with a chopper down to third. Melnick's across the way for the out. If you want to think about it, this would be the last year of the no DH in the World Series. We'll forget 70. Let me see. Yeah, we'll forget 77 because there were still a number of American League pitchers who would have hit at some point in their career. So if you go to 79, 81, and 83, only the Orioles were the only team coming into this that had won with it being a DH team without the DH. And you can kind of figure that the Royals obviously won this in real life, but you kind of have to wonder about the Cardinals' mindset in Game 7 after the rather interesting way that Game 6 ended. Here's Landrum, 3 for 13 in the playoffs with a solo homer. Fly ball left center field. Bell makes the catch for the out. But it's pretty obvious here for Toronto that they really miss Al Oliver in the lineup. Although Dave Steve did draw a walk in game one. Here's Terry Pendleton. Not a great playoff for him, 6 for 33. But he had the big home run in game 6 of the NLCS, and he's driven in 3. Key sets and fires. There's a line drive. Fernandez robs Pendleton of a hit. So no runs, no hits, no errors. After 2, no score. Yeah, we're Joaquin Andahar losing his mind. So it'll be Witt, Key, and Garcia here in the third. Ernie, 7 for 34, 3 homers, including one last night. Cox starts the third with a base hit up the middle. So Jimmy Key is going to bunt here. Clark and Pendleton play for it. You'd think he'd bunt. He does. It's down. Nieto's throw to her, and it will work. So Witt will go to second. 1 out for Garcia. Cox opening 9, 24 pitches, 2 1/3, 2 hits. One of them to Garcia. Got him. 2-2 fastball swung on and missed. So here's Mosby, who is 0 for 1. On the replay, both of these teams won 99 games. The Cardinals 2 less than real life. The Blue Jays hit it on the number. But the Blue Jays played 1 less game. And so therefore, they had the better record. Pitch to Mosby, Lloyd into right field, Landrum coming in, and that will retire the side. The Blue Jays have done what they did in Toronto. They keep leaving runners on. No runs, a hit, no errors. After 2.5, no score. So here's Ozzie Smith. Ozzie at 294, a triple, and 2 RBI in this playoff. John Tudor was described at this time in the Boston Red Sox as having the personality of a Massachusetts state trooper. John says John Tudor punched a fan or to cut ligaments or something like that in his hand. Yep. And he has turned into this replay, which should have been the Dwight Gooden show as far as the National League Cy Young is concerned, into Tudor's Cy Young and Tudor's MVP. George Brett won the American League. Ozzie, line drive to Garcia, 1 out. Mike Schmidt was the best hitter in the National League, but the Phillies finished in dead last. Here's Tom Nieto, 2 for 10, filling in for Darryl Porter with 2 RBI. 1 out. Nieto ground ball to short. Fernandez over to first for the out. So 2 out for Cox. Danny went 1 for 3 in his game against the Dodgers. And Jimmy Key has given Toronto, for the first 8 batters, exactly what they needed. But they've got to score a run. Pitch to Danny. Popped up. Witt doffs the mask. And he makes a great catch against the screen to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 4th. No score. So Bell, Upshaw, and Barfield to start the 4th. Another fast game here. If you missed the open, in the regular season, the Cardinals hit 87 home runs. again and stole over 300 bases. In the first 9 games of these playoffs, they've hit 12. Pitch to Bell. George into left center field. That's a base hit. McGee will throw it to her, but Bell's in with a double. So that's the third Toronto hit. Game 4, by the way, Sunday at noon. Sunday at noon for Game 4. And then we'll figure out the schedule from there. Willie Upshaw is 0 for 1. These are the situations the Blue Jays have to take advantage of. Runners in scoring position. They do. That's into left center field. Coleman will pick it up. Coleman has a decent arm, but Bell will hold at third, and it's runners on the corners and nobody out. For Jesse Barfield, who was hit by a pitch his first time up. So Cox has to work carefully now. That should score a run. Into right center. McGee will make the catch. Bell goes back to tag and will score without a throw. And so for a rare time in this series, the Blue Jays grab the lead, 1-0. So here's Fernandez. Tony is 0 for 1. 1 out, Upshaw first. Tony lines this one to right, but foul. So 1-2 the count. Jamie, how'd you make out with the hurricane down there? I was glad to see the ID Jester, who really lives near Fort Myers and Sarasota, was streaming last night. 1-2 the count. Fernandez hits a ground ball to first. Clark to Ozzie for 1. The Wizard turns and pivots, and it's going to be a 3-6-3 double play. But the Blue Jays finally get a lead in this series after 3.5, 1 run, 2 hits, no errors. And it will be the Jays 1, the Cardinals nothing. So Jimmy Key, who has retired the first 9 batters he's faced on 43 pitches, will go to Vince Coleman, who is 0 for 1. The Jays holding on to a precarious 1-run lead. Coleman ground ball to Fernandez. Tony Scoops has to hurry. Bang banger to Upshaw. 1 out. And so here is Willie McGee. Willie is 0 for 1. They're playing for the bunt. Not going to break up a no-hitter with a bunt. Got him! He swung on and missed an 0-2 fastball. So here's her. Tommy is 0 for 1. That's the first strikeout for Key. He winds and deals, and there's a fly ball to left. Bell ranges over, makes the catch. 12 up, 12 down. We go to the 5th here in Game 3. The Blue Jays 1, the Cardinals nothing. So Mullenix, Witt, and Key to face Cox here in the 5th. Rance is 0 for 1. There's a fly ball to left. Coleman drifting back, way back, but that will stay home. On the track, 1 out. No wind here in St. Louis and 67 degrees. A bit different from those high 30s by the late innings in Toronto. The pitchers are not allowed to go to their mouth. Here's Ernie Witt. He singled his first time up. And he'll do so again. Maybe right to McGee, who will dive and can't get it. Will it bound past him? No. But a little sinking line drive that McGee tried to corral and couldn't. And so with 1 out, they play for the bunt. Key swings. They're going to get 2 out of this, aren't they? Smith steps on the bag and will not throw to first. So Key reaches on the fielder's choice. I suppose they rated him a 4-runner. Steve got like a 3 or a 4 too. So that's actually not a bad trade if you're a Blue Jay fan. Garcia, 1 for 2, a single and a strikeout. Cox opening 18, 61 pitches, 4 2/3, 5 hits and a strikeout. You guys are awful quiet. Garcia swings. That's a base hit into left center field. We don't need to see what my online safety score is. And that's a single. So 2 on and 2 out on the single to left center for Mosby. Slaving over a hot keyboard. I suppose with the way that these processors get all warmed up, I wonder if you could run Jiffy Pop over it. They still make that? Or is it all just a microwave product now? Here's Mosby. He is 0 for 2. Toronto, again, they can't keep stranding runners. They got a chance. They got to do it now. Mosby up the middle for a base hit. McGee will pick it up. What are they going to do with Key? Key will do what? Somebody tell me. They're going to try for Key. Key rounds third. McGee uncorks one to the plate. Definitely not in time. And it's 2-0 Toronto. Garcia goes to third. The ball gets away from Nieto. And there's no error. But now they have 2 in scoring position for George Bell. So the Blue Jays, they'd panic. Their fans might not have been too happy, but they didn't panic. On the flight, Bell has a double and a run scored. That came in the 4th. 1 for 2. 2 out now. Cox sets and deals, and Bell sends this one into left center. McGee should get it, and will. They strand 2, but they get another big run on 3 hits and no errors. Halfway home in Game 3, and it's 2-0 Jays. So if you join us late, here's how we got here. Barfield a sac fly in the 4th to make it 1-0. And then Lloyd Mosby singled home Jimmy Key to make it 2-0. 5 innings, 7 hits, and 2 runs for Cox. And Jimmy Key is throwing up a whole bunch of bagels and a strikeout through 4. So Clark, Landrum, and Pendleton to face the lefty Key as we start the 5th. High ground ball up the middle. Fernandez, 1 out. Landrum is 0 for 1. The Game 4, I made a day game. So people who wanted an actual, a day game in the World Series, you get your wish. It'll be the Saturday game in this series. And I'd forgotten, since it's Toronto, that it would have left people to be able to watch in Canada both the World Series and Hockey Night in Canada. Hello, St. Louis. The Goats got in. Landrum is 0 for 1. Pitch from Key. Ball 4, and that's the first base runner for St. Louis. So 1 out for Pendleton. Jimmy takes an extra moment to gather himself. Pitch to Terry. Fly ball, left field. Bell makes the catch. And Landrum goes back to first. So 2 out for Ozzie, who's 0 for 1. Key delivers. And that's the first base hit of the game for St. Louis. A ground ball up the middle. Landrum round second. Goats, cats, and dogs are fed. So runners on the corners. 2 out for Nieto. Here in the 5th. Jays up 2-0 here. Game 4 Sunday at noon. If Toronto wins, I think they would take being down 2-1. I'm honestly surprised, Dave, that didn't set off the auto mud. You bad, bad boy. Pitch to, well, Key and Witt will have a word. They get out of this, they're in pretty good shape. Nieto lines one to Fernandez, and that's the inning. So St. Louis cannot score. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 6th, 2-0 Jays. So Upshaw, Barfield, and Fernandez. There has been in this postseason magnificent pitching. The Blue Jays' earned run average is right around 3. Upshaw 1 for 2 today. Danny Cox, who I think Mr. Gardner was trying to talk about, is having a decent game, but Jimmy Key is doing better. And that one is gone. So it's 3-0 Toronto. And it's a happy Friday night up on Yonge Street. That's Upshaw's second home run of the playoffs. And the Jays now have a 3-run lead. And if Key continues to pitch as well as he has had to, you might avoid the Toronto chapter of the International Brotherhood of Dumpster Fires. So nobody out for Barfield, who has been hit by a pitch and hit a sac fly. Homer Simpson approves. Pitch to Barfield. There's a chopper up the middle. Ozzie by the bag at second, over to first for the out. If you're wondering about how long a Tom Henke could pitch, he's only rated at 25 pitches. So if I would bring him in, it would be with about 5 outs left. But remember, there is no DH, so we got to be more careful. Or carefuler. What's the right word for that? More careful or carefuler? Here's Tony Fernandez. He's 0 for 2. Got him. A 1-2 fastball for strike 3. So here's Molinix. He's 0 for 2. More carefuler. There we go. And that's why Casey Stengel and Dizzy Dean taught me English, right? 2 out for Rance. Struck him out. So Cox settles down after the home run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 3-0 Toronto. So, what's Danny's pitch count? I think I'll let him hit. Really don't have that much confidence in my bullpen. I don't want to use Bob Forsch because he would go game 5. And I'm not going to concede because Kirk Kepshire is in the lockbox with Tom Niedenfuer. So the pitch to Cox is a ground ball to third. Molinix picks it up, throws to first. 1 out. Technically, 3 earned runs over 6 is a quality start. Sometimes the sabermetrics makes you scratch your head, doesn't it? Here's Vince Coleman. He's 0 for 2. Key, 72 pitches, 18 batters, 5 1/3, 1 hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Coleman smashes 1 to third. Mullenix, a long throw, and there's 2 out. So the best way to neuter the Cardinal speed is just not to put anybody on. I was going to bunt McGee, but I see the outcome average there, and we'll swing him away. So 2 out here in the 6th. McGee in the left field. Bell. And through 6, 3-0 Toronto. So Witt, Key, and Garcia. Ernie is 2 for 2. Casey couldn't even pronounce sabermetrics. That's true. Wouldn't you have loved to have spent an evening with him in a bar? He doesn't strike me as the Groucho bag type, but in a bar I bet he could pack it away. Pitch to Ernie, who singled twice, is into left center. McGee riding over and will make the catch, 1 out. So here's Key. He scored. He's 0 for 1. He strikes out. So for Cox, 27 batters, 95 pitches, 6 2/3, 8 hits, a homer allowed, and 4 strikeouts. Again, that's not a bad game. Not a good game. Well, not a bad one. Here's Garcia. Damaso is 2 for 3. He singled twice and struck out. And he drops one down. Cox throws to first, and that will retire the side. Stretch time, 3-0 Jays. So it'll be her, Clark, and Landrum to face the red-hot Jimmy Key here in the 7th. Tommy's 0 for 2. That's a base hit left side, and Bell will pick it up. So let's see if the Cardinal run manufacturing machine can get going here. Burr will wait for Key to throw over. Clark is 0 for 2. Key does throw over, and Her is back. And we won't steal. So that's only the 2nd hit for St. Louis. Pitch to Jack. Line drive left field. Bell's going to have to go fish this one out of the corner. Her was not going to stop at second. A bad play for Mullenix. Tommy going to round third. Yes, he is. Bell's throw to the plate is cut off, and it's 3-1. So St. Louis comes out of the stretch with a on fire. Here's Landrum. Tito is 0 for 1 with a walk. Pitch from Key. Ball 4. So Jimmy's starting to lose a little bit off his stuff. But he's got Pendleton, who's not a good hitter at the plate. He's 0 for 2. I do have third baseman. Who can hit a lefty? And we'll do that right now. Here's Cesar Cedeno. 1 for 3 in the playoffs. A single, an RBI, a run scored, a stolen base. So the Cardinals trying to get all 3 back now. Off a Key. Pitch to Cesar. There's a fly ball to left. Bell. 1 out. Clark tags and will not go. He had a good chance, but don't run into a second out, especially with Ozzie Smith. Double play, however, gets Key out of this. Ozzy is 1 for 2 with a single. That's a chopper. Mullenix, Garcia, they're only going to get 1. They tried to turn 2. They get the 5-4 fielder's choice. It's Key, rather. So it's 1-4 on the fielder's choice. 2 out for Nieto, who is 0 for 2. So 3-1, 2 out in the bottom of the 7th. Nieto in the shallow right center, and Key survives the inning. The Cardinals do get a run, however, on 2 hits and no errors. We go to the 8th. It's now a 3-1 ball game. So Tom Wallace, who's a 6 at third, comes in. Mosby, Bell, and Upshaw here in the 8th for Toronto, who again would like to have another run. They both stranded 4 runners so far. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Toronto. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors for St. Louis. Mosby 1 for 3 with an RBI. That hit was a single. This time around, a ground ball. Ozzy's got a charge for it. Long throw to first, and Mosby is out on a bang-banger. A swing and bunt for Mosby, and Ozzy threw him out. So here's Bell. A double, 1 for 3, and a run scored. Cox winds and deals, and Bell strikes out. A 1-2 changeup on the outside corner. And Danny, they're going to pinch hit for him in a moment. 2 out for Upshaw, 2 for 3. Willie has a solo homer. And now an extra base hit down the line and left. That will get past Coleman. Willie's going to get 2 out of this at least. Coleman picks it up. The throw goes into second. And Willie is in there standing. For Barfield, Jesse is 0 for 1. He has been hit by a pitch and a sac fly. He has an RBI. So 2 out. Runner on second. Cox deals, struck him out. So that's it for Danny. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors. He is done through 8, but on the wrong end of a 3-1 score. Blue Jays strand a runner. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Who can hit a lefty? So here's Mike Jorgensen. Yep, the Jays have done everything that they should in this game. None of these 3 games have been bad. The Jays had a chance last night to win game 2. They are evenly matched. Jorgensen is 0 for 3 on the postseason. He has struck out twice. Popped up. Witt. 1 out. Oh, he dropped it. He dropped it. And Jorgensen is safe on the air. Are you kidding me? That is Ernie Witt's 2nd error in the playoffs. So here's Coleman. He's 0 for 3. Key is opening 27 on 106 pitches. 7 innings plus. 3 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And the 1 run is earned. Pitch to Coleman. In the left center, Mosby. 1 out. And Jorgensen goes back. If you're wondering about what I would do with Henke. Oh, see, there's really no one to double switch at this point. So here's McGee. Willie is 0 for 3. He is due to bat 4th in the 9th. It will be Fernandez, Mullenix, and Witt. Willie is struck out. They guard the lines. Upshaw back. Jorgensen is back. And now I think I'm going to hit and run. That's what we do. And McGee hits a base hit into left field. Bell will pick it up. And so the Cardinals have the go-ahead run now at the plate. Send McGee to second. Yeah, why not? The throw to third. And everybody's safe. And that'll do it for Jimmy Key. Switchy righty-righty. I guess Caudell. Maybe, I mean, you don't walk her to face Clark. And so that's the question, Peanut Gallery. Do you save Hanky for the 9th? Or do you bring him in now? Or after? And if you do that, I think you got a double switch. So we'll give it a second. So Hanky on a double switch or Caudell. You're going to make me make this decision on my own, aren't you? Oh. It's warm in here. It's actually 68 today. Oh, nice. So the question is, do I bring in Hanky now and double switch, or do I go with cuffs? So there's 2 on and 1 out. And Key's about to get pulled. Hanky now. All right. So Lou Thornton goes in for Barfield. He's a 6 and a 3, and Hanky trying to slam the door. 5 outs. And a base hit here ties the game. Hanky pitched in game 2. 28 years old, fastball at 95, and a ground ball pitcher. Bacon fixes everything. In the postseason, 3 innings, 2 hits, 3 strikeouts, and a save. That came in game 2 of the ALCS against California. But with the season on the line, you got to do it now. They need 5 outs. Oops. Jays play back. Pitch to her. Base hit left center field. Jorgensen scores. McGee will round third and score. And we are tied at 3. And so the International Brotherhood of Dumpster Fires would like to welcome Tom Hanky in as their newest member. So here's Jack Clark, 1 for 3. A double and an RBI. Throw to first. See, yeah. Oh, and her's going to go now. Technically, that is the right move. You got the double switch. I'm honestly surprised that the computer didn't play in, but oh well, there goes her, and Witt will just let him have the bag. And if you're looking for a turning point in the World Series, well, that might be it. But the lead is gone, but the Cardinals don't have it yet. They're even up at 3. 1-0 to Clark. Base hit left field. Bell. Her will hold, and his runners on the corners, and 1 out. Here comes Van Slyke. He's only hitting 182 in the postseason, but he has hit 3 monster home runs. So runners on the corners, Van Slyke at the plate. He's going to pinch hit for Landrum. Now they play in, right up the middle, a base hit. Her will score. And the Cardinals go up 4-3. So here's Lawless. Hankey hasn't retired a batter. Pitch to Lawless. That should be 2. Fernandez. Garcia for 1. Upshaw for 2. But the Cardinals, my goodness, 3 runs on 4 hits and an error. And we go to the top of the 9th. St. Louis 3 outs from a 3-game lead. Van Slyke a 4 and a 9. And right, we aren't messing around. It's Worrell, who has thrown 4 times in this postseason. Amazingly, he's next year's Rookie of the Year. 26 years old, an extreme fly ball pitcher. Fastball at 91. He got the save in Game 2. So 2 1/3 innings. A hit, a run. It was earned a home run. That came against the Dodgers. He has walked 1 and struck out 3. And the Cardinals are 3 outs away from a 3-zip lead. Fernandez is 0 for 3. Chopper to short. Ozzie with a diving stop. Over to Clark. 1 out. It seems that Destiny is wearing a Cardinal uniform. Here's Mullenix. Rance is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Got him! Umpire was starting to watch other TV shows. A 2-2 late called strike 3, and it's Witt, who is 2 for 3. Worrell has only thrown 8 pitches. He winds and deals, and there's a long fly ball to right. Back goes Van Slyke. He's got it. He leaps above the wall, and that's the ball game. The Cardinals. Oh my goodness gracious, Buffy St. Marie. They get to Key, they got to Hankey, and they're 27 outs from a World Series championship. The final score, St. Louis 4, Toronto 3. Four runs, 7 hits, no errors, and left on 5. The Blue Jays 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error, and they left on 5. So Jimmy Key, again, only gave up 3 earned runs. And no one pitched an outrageous amount. And Tom Hankey spit the bit, to be honest. I mean, you can go back and do you walk her to face Clark? I mean, you're playing with fire there. And Todd Worrell picks up his 3rd save. It's amazing, just amazing how I can outbeat the AI in that department. I don't regret bringing in Hankey. I think that is the right move. Because if you need it, he can get you the 5 outs. He didn't get any. So that's it. The Cardinals are 1 game away from the World Series championship of 1985. And so Danny Cox, well, Tommy Herr is going to get the player of the game. His 2-run single in the 8th gave the Cardinals the lead. And so for now, I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We will talk to you Sunday for Game 4. Have a good one, everybody. So long.